Mama's Coffee House. Many of you know my name is Christian Cano, and I'm happy to stand before you in this beautiful Mama's Coffee House. This is a small business that's owned by some members of our community, members of our Latino community, and we symbolically decided to have this announcement on Columbus Day, the day that symbolizes that all of our families came here from somewhere. Although I'm an American in several generations and I'm a product of our family that immigrated here from Mexico, I'm also a product of a former World War II veteran grandfather. My maternal grandparents were hard-working Americans like many of yours. They raised children and put them all through Catholic school. My family helped build our great country, just like many of your families. My mom, who's the oldest of those 11, was taught to love our family, love our country, and love our neighbors. And that lesson was passed along to me and my sisters and brothers in our generation, and it continues to be passed along to other generations within my family tree. That is why I feel so strongly that regardless of our political views, our religious views, or our social views, at the end of the day, we are all and must start to act like neighbors once again. So today, after much due diligence and after much discussion with my loved ones, with my family, and my friends and my neighbors, I humbly ask for your vote and support to be our next North Carolina Congressional District 9 representative in 2016 as a Democrat. Or in plain talk, I'm officially running for Congress. I have a very short time frame to get our message out and to educate our neighbors on the challenges and opportunities that face us. Our General Assembly's 11th hour move to now have our primary election on March the 15th makes us not be able to sit around complaining about one another and about why our General Assembly's 11-hour surprise benefits our incumbents. But we have to accept that, and it is what it is. So we need to move forward and get our positive message out to voters and to our neighbors. And we need to tell them what makes us a better choice than our current doomsday representative. Those within his party always say the sky is falling. Well, let me tell you, America isn't coming apart. We do have certain segments of our society that are fearful of the changes occurring in our country. And these are real fears. Fears that are really based upon internal feelings that the world is passing them by. So it's vital that we do all we can to bring those living in fear into our conversation and share how they can also be a part of the changes our country is going through, and they can also share the prosperity that will bring all of us. As your congressperson, we are going to put our district first again. I'm not going to try to be more than I was elected to be. I'm not trying to travel around the world acting like a surrogate or for our Secretary of State at taxpayers' expense. I'm going to be your congressman whose job number one is to fight for us in our district and to make sure that we get our fair share of opportunities in our district. I will fight to make sure we are doing all we can to keep our jobs here in our district. I'm not going to be one of those who blames us because Burger King decided to move to Canada, like our current congressperson has done. Nope, I'm not like our current congressman. Honoring our obligations to veterans and former professional military, like many of you, our family has several family members currently serving in our professional military. And I want to make sure that every single one of them in our professional military can be confident that we will take care of them when they return back home and when their military career ends. It's shameful the way we have treated our veterans and our former military family members. We need to stop talking about it, and we need to fix it. As your congressman, I will not vote to send quickly any of our sons and daughters into harm's way without making sure that we try diplomacy first. It's always the war hawks, like our current congressman, who like to put other kids in battle's way, while they never volunteer any of their own kids or any of their own family members. Yes, I'm not like our current Congressman. Responsible approach to our immigration policy and treating all human beings with dignity and respect. I have been saddened, not once has our current representative or any of his party stood up to the hateful rhetoric being spewed out to those who don't understand our country's rich and diverse immigration history. It's naive for any rational adult to believe our district, our state, or our nation could survive the tremendous financial crisis that would hit us if we followed the logic of Donald Trump or the GOP on immigration. It's almost like they live on a different planet. We need to change this. And I'm committed to changing the view of people who believe I've made it so they can fend for themselves. We all need to work together because we're all from immigrant families. I will vote to reform our immigration system so we can move on to more important issues facing our country and our district, like providing jobs and balancing a budget. I'm not like our current congressman. Encouraging international trade, having spent almost 20 years traveling across this great country, working in a hospitality business, opening hotels. One of the first things that I will do as your congressperson is to bring our closest neighbors together, both Canada and Mexico, and show them some Southern hospitality at a forum here in our district and see how much more opportunities are out there for our businesses here in our district to export to their countries, and how much more investment we can bring into our district from their countries. We are one of the largest exporters to Mexico and Canada. Mexico imports more from us than they do from China. So all this talk about building walls for our neighbors, when they are actually providing so many jobs and much needed revenue within our district, is just foolish. That's just not something we do in the real world, and it's not something that we do to neighbors that are providing jobs within our district and our region. We also need to examine how we can help our vital banking industry. That is one of the foundations of our economy and growth, and we need to help them look for the expansions into international markets and cut the red tape that prevents them from expanding internationally. This can be done without profits being carried on the backs of taxpayers. We need to stop looking at our industries as monsters and start looking at them as a bunch of neighbors just like us.
Right.
I'm not like our current representative. I believe in religious freedom for all of our religions, not just for the religion of our current congressman, and the fundamentals he supports and surrounds himself with. I believe in freedom for religion for all Catholics, Jews, Muslims, Mormons, Lutherans, our AME churches across the country, and all churches. Let's open our arms as people of faith, let everyone know that in our district, we have a church for someone and for everyone, if you want one. We're a district that preaches love and not hate. I'm not like our current congressman. Environmental sustainability. We cannot hold our heads in the ground anymore when our drinking water and my family's own well water is at stake due to climate deniers like our current representative. Let's be clear. There is no more climate debate. Once again, there is no more climate debate. Climate change is real. Just ask our neighbors in South Carolina who just suffered from one of the major floods in 100 years, and our farmers in Huntersville who are going through a drought. We need a representative in D.C. that will protect our families from climate health issues that are growing faster than ever, like asthma amongst our poorest people. We must encourage clean energy options and solar energy options. Getting us off the dirty coal grid is now a life and death situation for many of our neighbors suffering from airborne health issues. You know, if businesses are people too, then they should be prosecuted just like people too.
Right.
I'm not like our Separation of church and state. I'm not standing here before you telling you that I'm a perfect person and that I have not had challenges in my own life. I have sinned and I'm a sinner. But my religious beliefs are my private beliefs and not something I would ever push upon any one of my employees or co-workers. So why do we think it's okay to push it upon our neighbors as elected officials? As a congressperson, that will stop. I will never start a town hall meeting with a prayer. If I have to pray for guidance, I will, but I will do it in private before a meeting, because regardless of me praying, we are all must be held responsible for our votes and our actions, and not blaming our actions on our religious beliefs. You are electing a pastor. You're not electing a pastor in 2016. You're electing a congressman. So I'm not like our current congressman. Representing all neighbors equally. One of the things I'm most proud of is that I have always strived and fought tooth and nail in both my professional life and in my personal life to treat everyone equally with dignity. I try hard to see what a person looks like inside of them, not what's outside of them. I'm more concerned about hiring the best person for the job, regardless of what they look like. That's not only good business, but it's smart business, and it should be smart government. If you take a civil job with us where taxpayers are paying your salary, and then you suddenly decide you don't want to do your job, well, that's pretty childish behavior, and that should no longer be behavior. That be the behavior in our governments, and you should be fired. I'm not like our current congressman. During our exploratory phase, as we have been testing the waters of our district, it has become apparent that we are going to have to take our message directly to all areas of our district. Arundel County, Mecklenburg County, and Union County. And to all our neighbors and all of our precincts. We must take our message directly to them and do a better job as a Democratic Party, and I have to do my job as a candidate in educating our neighbors of who we are and what we stand for. And we also need to reprogram their ideas and images about Democrats. We also need to let them understand that we're progressives, but we're also their neighbors. We need to break the cycle of doomsday politics that has been pandered by our current representative, who each week believes the sky is falling, or that some Muslim, Mexican, black, or gay boogeyman is behind each door gonna get him. From his border kids rhetoric to Ebola, to his statements about gays are like cigarettes, to women issues, to the IRS, to Benghazi, to our president being Muslim, to many other conspiracy theories he has promoted. We must take our message directly to all of our neighbors and let them see us and let them hear us and let them know that this is no longer the 1950s or the 1980s. This is 2015. Listen, I love 1980s music, like many of you. But something is seriously wrong when a party is so desperate to look for heroes that they can only muster up one former actor president from the 1980s in every speech they make. This is now 2015 America. It's time we get out of the 80s and start addressing issues with modern knowledge. We're going to do everything we can during this election, and we're going to do what is badly needed in our governance and politics today. We're going to try to bring our neighbors back together. I'm so privileged to have so many diverse neighbors step forward to join our efforts at various capacities. This is truly the definition of a grassroots campaign. We are building a team that reflects the diversity of our neighbors and our team that has experiences in all areas that impact our district, our region, and our nation. Now, although we have to hit the ground running very, very quickly, we are, and I am, still focused on our local elections, on getting our progressive neighbors elected this November, like Chris Turner. I have been fully supporting many of our neighbors who are asking for the privilege of representing us on City Council, School Board, and most importantly, getting Jennifer Roberts elected as our first progressive woman mayor in Charlotte's history. So we have our work cut out to do for us to win in 2016. I feel we will message to all of our family, friends, and neighbors in our district that we all have the same challenges and we have the same opportunities regardless if you live in the suburbs, if you live on a farm, or if you live in South Park. If we can do this, we can get one step closer to bringing neighbors together in North Carolina and start to accomplish more for our district and our future. So with this, I thank you, I thank my loved ones, I thank my family, I thank my friends, I thank my neighbors, and let's get out there and start getting our message out. Let's win our primary, and let's make sure we can take back our district from the divisive and disconnected policies and politics of our current representative and his party. Thank you very much, and I wish you well.